Texarkana, Arkansas Board of Directors to order. At this time, we'll have a roll call.
Assistant Mayor Hart.
Here.
Director Roberts.
Here.
Director Harris.
Here.
Director Hollabash.
Here.
Director Brewer.
Here.
Director Jewell.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here. At this time, we'll stand for our invocation. Director Harris.
And I'm gonna ask again, like I did the last time, with my time, to anyone from the audience that want to come up and do the prayer.
Come on, Pastor.
Our pledge of allegiance will be by our city clerk, Heather Sawyer.
Let us pray. Father, we bless your name today. We thank you for this time. Thank you for this gathering. Thank you for this board of directors. Give them the wisdom and the knowledge to make the decisions that will be pleasing and acceptable unto you, that will be a benefit for this community. In Jesus' matchless name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. This time, we'll move right on into our citizens' communication time. Is there anyone here in the audience that wishes to address the board? Anyone here wish to address the board for citizens' communication time? Any board member? Hearing and seeing none, we'll move right on into our presentations. Tonight, we have some service awards. Our city manager will be presenting to, I believe we have one present. I'd like to call those that they've informed me are not present. We have Timothy Hicks with the fire department for 5 years, Karen Reed with the court system for 25 years, Caleb Herring with TWU for 5 years, James Smith with TWU for 25 years, and John Smith Peters with TWU for 25 years. If y'all give them a round of applause. I believe we have one person present, Joseph Redden with the TAPD, 15 years. Jenny has it. It's right there on the paper. This time, we'll move into our regular agenda. Item number 3 is to...
Mayor, if the
Yes.
mayor, I'd like to suggest that we move the executive session to the bottom of the agenda.
It is,
It is?
yes.
Well, on mine, it says,
It's after number 6, and executive session is 7, right?
it is? Okay. All right,
Mine
I don't have my glasses on, so, okay,
Okay.
we're good.
First of all, we're not going to move into the regular because we need to do the consent agenda. So we have one item on the consent agenda. It's item number 2, which is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of May 20th. What would be the desire of the board? Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And the consent agenda passes. Now moving into our regular agenda, item number 3 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a construction contract with R&W Electric for the I-30 Highway Mass Light LED upgrade. Tyler.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. I know you all are happy to see this. We'll be fixing the 4-light high masts that are around the interchanges. We've gone in, I think, 2 different times now. Each time we've gone in, we've had to do a little bit more. We've already replaced all the wiring and conduit within the median, and hopefully this is the last step in the process. Well, it won't be the last step because we're still going to have to replace the poles at some point. The hoist mechanisms within the poles are broken. They're obsolete. The manufacturer for them is out of business, so you can't even get parts for them anymore. So they're going to be utilizing a crane to go up to the top of those lights to replace them with long life LEDs so we can get some good life out of them. And then we'll have to make a plan for down the road to actually replace all of those poles.
Got something there?
Yes.
So is this under the same budget we've approved about 3 different times on this over 2.5, 3-year period?
No, sir. All right, so we.
So this is an additional cost?
No, it's in the budget.
Okay.
This is all budgeted and planned for. So last year, we had budgeted $75,000 for this project. I had a contractor in line to do that. He went ghost on me. He gave me an estimate to come in and do the project, and then when I got ready to actually bid that project out, I never could get a hold of him, and still to this day, I haven't been able to speak with him again. So I reached out and went to some other contractors. They came in with a much higher estimate, so we had to add that to it this year for this budget.
So the original budget was like, what, $175,000?
No, sir, it was $75,000.
75, so we've added
Correct.
an additional 75 to it.
We've added an additional 50 to it.
Okay.
Yeah, we budgeted 125 this year. Prices came in, one was 121, the other that we're awarding was 102.
So it's 102 what we're going to pay. this
Correct,
year.
yes, sir.
How long will these bulbs last?
They're 15-year LEDs. Yes, sir, 102.
Is this going to fix it?
Yeah.
Get them burning.
I mean, they're going to consistently, we're going to consistently have to do maintenance on them. There's no way around that. We're just going to have to. But we're going to keep a close eye on them and try to keep them burning.
Tyler, how long is it going to take before they get started?
That's why y'all are just now seeing it, because we have a short window that we can do this in the summer, because you can't put any equipment down in that median without it immediately just sinking. So I'm hoping July, that it'll dry up enough to where they can set cranes in there, or lifts, whichever way they're going to do it, to access these lights. Some of them can be accessed from the roadway with equipment. So hopefully we can get started on those. I'll be talking with R&W to see how quickly they can get started. But I'll get them going as soon as possible.
Any other questions? If not, I'd instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Public Works Department is requesting the approval of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Board of Directors to authorize the city manager to enter into a construction contract with R&W Electric, Inc. for the Interstate 30 high-mast light LED upgrade. And whereas the city advertised for bids and 2 qualified bids were received, with R&W Electric, Inc. submitting the low bid in the amount of $102,740. And whereas the authorization for this expenditure meets all bidding requirements, and whereas the funds for such project were budgeted and are available, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the city manager is authorized to enter into a contract with R&W Electric Incorporated for the purposes and in the amount set forth above, pass and approve this 4th day of June 2024.
City attorney's read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
So a motion and a second to adopt. Any other discussion? Would you call the roll?
Hart,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Jewell,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes, resolution passes. Item number 4 is to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Holistic Utility Solutions for the review of unbilled or misbilled utility service and the water system loss audit project. Gary.
Mayor, directors, in an effort to maximize our revenue for the utility, we sent out a request for proposals to basically look at our billing or revenue for the utility and also for the water loss. You know, water's the new gold. We're trying to minimize the amount of water loss we have that's not billed for. And ever since our cyber attack, we lost a lot of data in our cyber attack. And we've gotten a lot of it back, but we still feel like there's some data missing. And what this audit will do for the revenue portion of it, this company, Holistic Utility Solutions, will look at every single account. There's plus or minus 30,000 accounts. It's 6 to 9 months is what we're anticipating it's going to take, but they're going to look at every one of the accounts, make sure they're being billed based on Union, Manable, Texarkana. There's all different billing rates, inside city limits, outside city limits. That's just some of the things. It'll also look at, customers that's not being billed, that should be being billed, that are connected, and it'll also look at people customers inside the city limits that's not connected where water sewer is available. And then we'd bring that to you for a decision if we want to have them connect. And that's going to be a lot of revenue we know we lost. For example, last year we brought the infrastructure fee where we found, Melissa Shaw found it, that we weren't billing outside city limit customers, and even some of the inside for the union weren't being billed infrastructure fee. And that's going to be roughly $26,000 a year, just that alone, that we're going to be bringing in. That's going to help. Then another part of this will be our water loss. You know, we're trying to minimize the amount of water loss we have. Roughly right now, based on what we treat and send out and what we bill for, it's about a 16% loss, which is actually in the state's area that they say is a good number, but we know we can minimize that even more. You know, so we're asking this company who's very well experienced in this type of work to look at our system, see ways that we can reduce that amount of water loss. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Gary, I have one. Just
Yes, sir.
whatever they find, I mean, I know we'll fix going forward, but none of it's going to be retroactive as far as billing any of the citizens.
No, sir.
back.
No, sir. It would not. No, sir. No. We did have 5 companies from several states that picked up proposals. Only 2 submitted. Of the 2, they're both very well qualified, both familiar with both of them, but one of them did not meet the requirements of the proposal that we sent out. They didn't want to do it the way we asked for it to be done. And so the Holistic Utility is very well experienced and qualified to do this work. So we recommended them to do this project for us.
Well, Gary, that's good news because that's the biggest concern out there is on this building or what have you. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we know there's some we've missed. Like I said, when Melissa found out last year, that was a big find for us. And we know there's others out there that we're just not thinking of it. We don't have the staff to be looking at all the data. And this will be a good project. I think it'll be well worth the money spent.
Gary, we're manually reading these meters, or do you have any long-term plans for a smart meter conversion, or?
Yes, sir. Actually, we sent out requests for qualifications last year. We selected a company, Johnson Controls, that we had 3 submit. We interviewed all 3 of them, selected them based on their qualifications. We're just about through the study. We've been working with Robert and the Texas side on this and put in an automatic metering infrastructure system. It'll be great for the utility, great for the city, great for the customers. They can go to a portal and actually look at the water every day, see how much they're using, to see if they got a leak. Right now, based on the numbers that we're looking at for Arkansas, putting in, our meters are old, very old. Our system's over 100 years old, and we try to change that to meters as we can, but we're going to replace all the meters over 5 years old is what we're proposing. We'll be coming back to with this. We're working right now on a fee. You know, Robert and David Orr and us have been working with this company trying to get their fee where we feel comfortable with it. But in Arkansas alone, it's projected to save $185,000 in just water we're not reading because of the inaccuracy of the meters. So it's a really good deal. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I worked for a utility software company that did that.
Okay.
And worked several projects on it. And I think the one thing for these citizens that would be good is them to be able to log on at any given time and see real-time updates on their usage and what's happening with their water,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, yes, sir,
So
very much.
Immediately, they don't have to wait until they get a bill to find out, oh, I've got a problem.
And you can even set parameters that once I reach 2,000 gallons, flag me, send me an alert, so they can monitor it and control it very well.
Thanks for all you do, Gary.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, we'd instruct the city
Thank you.
attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Texarkana Water Utilities is requesting the approval of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Board of Directors to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Holistic Utility Solutions for the review of the unbilled or misbilled utility services and water system loss audit project. And whereas the purpose of this project is to perform an analysis and correction of utility system underbillings, misbillings, and water system loss with the intent of improving accountability and ratepayer equity, thereby increasing revenue for Texarkana Water Utilities. And whereas the city advertised for proposals and 2 qualified proposals were received, with Holistic Utility Solutions of Grapevine, Texas, being selected with a total fee of $200,000, with the Arkansas portion being $81,340. And whereas the authorization for this expenditure meets all requests for proposal requirements, and whereas the funds for such project are available. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the city manager is authorized to enter into a contract with Holistic Utility Solutions for the purposes and in the amount set forth above. Pass and approve this 4th day of June, 2024.
City attorney's read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
So have a motion and a second to adopt. Any other discussion? Could you call the roll?
Hart,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollabash,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes, the resolution passes. Moving on to item number 5 is to adopt a resolution approving the Texarkana Regional Airport 20-year master plan. Paul?
Good evening. I'm going to give a just quick overview for those that weren't able to join us at the joint city meeting. So we've been working on a 20-year master plan for the airport. This master plan looks at all of the construction projects that we would be interested in doing over that next 20 years and is a requirement by the FAA for us to be able to receive federal grant funding from them. It also provides as a public document, so that way we can make that available to the communities around us, and also a planning document for city planning, so that way as you guys do things with zoning, that you're also aware of what we're trying to accomplish, and we can work together on that. Although it's called a 20-year plan, at 10-year mark, we will review that plan, because there are certain projects that you put in order, and then you see how many of those were you able to get to, and you kind of do a readjustment. That also then allows you to take into account if there are any drastic changes over that 10-year period that may cause you to need to kind of reevaluate that plan. The last two projects on our previous master plan was the 500-foot extension and the terminal building. And so we're kind of quickly running out of things that we can fund at this point. It is not a blanket approval for these projects. The FAA accepts it. They make sure that everything has been designed correctly, but we go through a process of a 5-year cycle where we request projects that are on the master plan for consideration by the FAA. So this is not a blanket approval by the cities or any other organization that all of these things will happen. The master plan itself looks at environmental considerations, what are the existing conditions on the airfield, forecasts for what we think that we will see for commercial, cargo, and general aviation growth, what kind of facilities then we would need to meet those forecasts. They come up with several types of alternates to choose from, and there was a planning planning committee that then took those into consideration and made recommendations. You create then the airport layout plan, which is then the drawing set that we get, a facilities implementation plan, which then says what order we plan to do these, and then we look at the financial feasibility. That project advisory committee consisted of representatives from both the Arkansas and Texas side. From airport tenants, we had the FBO and American Airlines. Our general aviation community, we reached out to the Aircraft Owner and Pilot Association and the Flying Club. We had state representatives from Arkansas Division of Aeronautics, the Artex Ready Group, and individuals from Tex America Center. And then we also included the FAA, their air traffic control, and the FAA's environmental group as part of that planning group. Their recommendation, and this is kind of small up there, but this is, the recommendation involves, I'm going to push this button here. We're going to inevitably close down the crosswind runway. We no longer have the wind data to support having a crosswind runway, and we understand that the cost for it to be able to be maintained long-term would be not financially feasible for the two cities. So then we will look at utilizing that as a taxiway for wide-body aircraft in the future. We are already working on the 500-foot extension, which will allow us to start doing development starting on the east side of the airport, or sorry, on the kind of south side. This is north, is this direction. So on the southern side of the airport here, and we would start to move around this side because utilities exist along East 19th Street, which will allow us to do development. The portion down here of the potential 1,200-foot extension off the other way would be a 20-year, potentially plus. You have to understand that the dirt on that side drops about 60 feet, and so you're looking at a project that in today's dollars is approximately $80 million. The FAA would require an incredible amount of projects like flights and operations at your airport to justify that type of thing. So that will probably not happen within my lifetime, but we put it on there because if we are ever approached by a major company, an Amazon or a FedEx that is interested in growing, that we then have access to federal funds to accomplish that type of project. So this is, as you can see, a lot of hangars. This becomes the development over on this side. We've already received interested parties. We have letters of interest in doing that. Down here at the southern end of the runway, there is a company in Texas that has indicated that they're going to start exploring whether or not they may end up having to move from the airport that they're at. But at this point, all the rest of that development, there is no current companies of interest. But we put it on there so that way over that 20-year period, if there does have that initial development, that we would continue to be able to get federal funding to build the infrastructure to continue that growth. So we will be focusing on this side of the airport. This is runway 4, this is I-49 here, and this is going to be pretty much where we're going to be spending the next 5 to 10 years of our development out at the airport. So the master plan has gone through the recommended development plan. The airport has approved. We are coming to you this evening to approve the master plan. We will then go over to the Texas side and then get sent off to the FAA. The FAA will take about 6 to 8 months to actually do the acceptance, and it isn't until after that that we can start doing projects that are on that. If there were any questions.
Hey, Paul, so go back, if you would, to where it showed the hangars right there.
Yes, sir.
Go back, go more. No, where it shows.
This one?
That. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you said we've got intent.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this, underneath that, I couldn't see, and forgive me, I can't see anymore, but does this affect any current homeowners that live within that grid?
No. This property here, so this is actually where we've just built the new terminal building.
Yes.
This property is all currently owned by us.
Okay.
There was a piece here that was, we purchased about 2 years ago, about 8 acres. And then this pink that you can kind of see underneath, that is owned by the Chamber of Commerce. And
What about the structure that's next to it, Paul?
This one?
That one?
This is a commercial company that does, I think it's gas supply. You have over here, you have Goins Plastic. This used to be a gym. And then over on this part, this is an older picture, but this is where Southwest Freight had developed. So it's pretty much all warehousing commercial development at this point.
I have a question. What's the revenue potential of those hangars?
So the hangars themselves, they themselves will actually produce fairly low revenue because we would be charging like a ground lease. Where we'll end up making revenue is from landing fees and from fuel flowage. And then on top of that, from the jobs that are created. So this 4-hangar structure, they're talking about approximately 150 jobs. And the one that is here has said about 165. And so that's where we'll see kind of that longer term revenue.
All right.
Paul, I don't have a question, just a comment. You and the Airport Authority, the Ready Group, there's no telling how many hours y'all put into this. And I mean, you have really put together a great plan that is a real potential game changer for Texarkana. And I think that people will start seeing that this airport is not just a way out of Texarkana, but a way into Texarkana. And where the economic development potential is unbelievable. And y'all did a fantastic job, and y'all are all to be commended. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, now, what's the level of interest that we have currently for these?
So for these two, we actually have letters of intent that we've submitted to the FAA as part of the justification to get that 500-foot extension. What the last piece that we'll be working on Once we have all of the funds in place to do the runway strengthening and extension, is just doing a revenue bond to build the structures. And that piece is a little tricky because we're in this post-COVID world where interest rates are much higher. So we're kind of watching that. As we go through the construction here, we're hoping that we can see some of those interest rates go down to make it more affordable to build
So
those.
their letter of intent clearly is a clear indication that they will come?
It's, at this point,
Or just a
they will
letter of
come
interest?
if we can make the hangars at a price that makes it profitable for them.
And what kind of time frame is it is it contingent on the runway being extended before they?
Yes.
And
For both of these companies, they use wide-body aircraft, and they would not be able to come in until that runway is complete.
And what kind of time frame is that for the runway extension and all that?
Currently, if we have the funding by, all in line for this year, we'd break ground next year, and we should be done by spring of '27.
That quick, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Any other questions? If not, I'd instruct the city, yes.
I do. I was trying to see what picture was that. The one, well, I guess I asked the question. I guess I was trying to ask the question too last week when, I think the guy that was normally the president of Reddit was up here. And I was asking the question in regards to eminent domain. And
Yes, let me note on that. So something that we have put onto the drawings itself, it will be a part of the master plan, is that properties will be acquired under mutual agreement with property owners.
But my
We will not be
question
using eminent domain.
Is that in writing that you will not utilize eminent domain?
Yes, and that is exactly why we put that in there, is to give in writing that we will not be using eminent
I
domain.
don't see it on here.
If you look on the area here that's purple, there's a little call-out box to that, and it says properties to be acquired under mutual agreement with property owners.
I'm asking the attorney.
It's not on theirs, it's just on your
Okay.
presentation.
Yes, that will be in the official,
Well, I was gonna,
yeah.
make for sure of that, but, I guess during the process of reading the thing, I was going, well, I guess I'll wait to get to that point. But that's my biggest concern about, use in the domain, because, I think somebody can get up here and say anything, but to me, unless it's in writing,
Yes.
I will learn my own self, if something ain't right, that's basically the sure of that. And so, I was gonna ask the city attorney, when's the best time I wanna make a motion that is included, that the word eminent domain will not be utilized in acquiring any property in this matter.
It's already in the.
It's in the
master plan.
master
Yes.
plan, Paul.
We will
But the
not
word-
use, yes, it is in the document that will be
Yeah.
submitted to the
But the
FAA.
word eminent domain would not be used.
I don't believe we use the word eminent domain.
That's,
Instead, that we categorize it this. We have to be careful about some of that terminology because as part of the FAA grant assurances, one of them is preservation of rights and powers.
Okay.
And so we cannot give up just like the city cannot give up the ability to use eminent domain, but we can, through the master plan, assure that we will not utilize it. So I can't give up the power of it, but I can say that we will not use it.
no,
So to be clear, you want something, you want to pass a ordinance that the airport will not utilize eminent domain to acquire a property around the airport?
That is where I would caution because that would put us in violation with FAA grant assurances.
I don't know. And that's my issue with this plan here. I didn't know, and I hate to go into that. I know that one of y'all board members, told me what he was gonna do. I gonna say Andy Smith. Then when it came to him doing it, he didn't do it. So my thing is, myself, I would like to get something in writing to state that effect, and, you know, and that's my issue with this, you know. I know you still got 6 more board members that may agree to this, but that's my concern, and I am figure that I am, protecting the property owner. because,
Understood.
You know, I don't think I'm gonna be up here 20 years, and I can't say about the other board member, but I'm doing what I think that I need to do to satisfy what I think need to be done, so.
If
Understood.
property is going to be acquired in the future, it would have to come before the board anyway,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes.
And how you do it and the process by which you
It
do
would
it.
have to be approved by both cities. Yes, sir.
But I still, like I said, for my satisfaction, so, and I am gonna make, well, I don't know, I will make that motion, whether they get anywhere or not, at least I'll satisfy what I think I need to do, with that motion, so I don't know, I'm gonna ask amendment, that's when you get ready to read the ordinance, or however you gonna do it, but like I said, I gotta satisfy what I think is need to be done, you know.
I would say just vote against it and make a notation in the minutes as to why you're voting against it.
Well, people probably already can realize by now, by looking at this and looking at the board meeting, it ain't gonna take a rocket science to figure that out, you know, because I feel that in the long run, the best way to protect the property, the homeowner interest, is to make sure that the city cannot utilize something and implement this plan, so.
We can't tie the FAA's hands.
Well, we don't know that.
Putting that
That's-
language in that, I would think that would be true.
We don't know
I know
if
there-
that's true or not, so that could be speculation, like a lot of things may be speculation, so, but.
Well, I think the airport board and this board is on record as to saying that.
Yes, sir.
That eminent domain will not be utilized in the purchase of that.
And
that
that's where
property.
we will have
And-
this language in the master plan.
And-
So
and
that
I-
way it's
and
part
I
of
think
it.
these are all subject, I mean, they're all public record that will be there for forever.
Yes, sir.
So I think that could be utilized by somebody in the future, so.
And we got this language cleared by the FAA to make sure that it wouldn't cause any issues.
Well, and he's already said any acquisition of those properties have to come before the board anyway.
Yes, sir.
Well,
And
that
you'll
could,
still be here.
well, that could be 10, 20 years down the line, I don't expect to get.
I think it's gonna be
10, 20 years down the line.
30
And I don't think
And-
half of us up here gonna be.
Well,
up here.
30
And
years.
two, whatever this board or any board does, if we say we're not going to do it, could be undone by
By another board.
a following board to say, well, we are going to utilize eminent domain. So what we do today could be undone by anybody tomorrow, so.
I think in good faith, with all the work we've already put into the economic development in the airport, I think we should continue to just move forward. We have the language that suffice for today, and I think we should just move forward.
Any other discussion? Not, we'd instruct, yes.
And I guess I need to clear up, since I brought up a board member, y'all board member named Agnes Smith, what I was bringing up, that for him to get placed back on the airport board, he stated to me that he was gonna resign for the not the advertising, but for the, planning commission. And so, and that's what I was getting at. You know, he stated to me that he was gonna resign or not be placed, or not request to be placed on the planning committee anymore. So that's what I'm getting at, so, yes.
I'd instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Federal Aviation Administration requires a 20-year master plan in order for Texarkana Regional Airport to receive grant funds, and whereas the master plan provides a blueprint to future development at the airport, and whereas the attached 20-year master plan was created utilizing a federal grant by Kaufman and Associates and was approved by the Airport Authority Board. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the Texarkana Regional Airport 20-year master plan is hereby approved, passed and approved this 4th day of June 2024.
City attorney's read the resolution, what would be the desire?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
So a motion and a second.
Mayor, I would like, may I?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to amend, that, resolution, that eminent domain. would not-
Mayor, point of order. We have a motion on the
Well,
board.
will not be utilized in that. Well, you already know this was coming up, so. You can amend a motion in
Motion and
time,
a second,
so.
yeah. We have a motion on the floor to amend the resolution to add that eminent domain would be included in. Is there a second?
Would not be included, would not be
Not-
utilized
You would not be utilized.
in implementing of this plan.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion does not pass. The motion, resolution's been read. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt. Would you call the roll?
Hart,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
No,
Hollabush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Jewell,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes, the resolution passes. Moving on to item number 6 is to adopt a resolution approving the sale of 8.197 acres of land located adjacent to Arkansas Boulevard to Harvest International Ministries. Paul?
So this has actually been over a 2-year process with Harvest Ministries. When we were going to acquire the 8 acres that were along East 19th Street and spend $80,000, there became an opportunity to sell some property to Harvest Ministries, which would then offset that expense, so that way there wouldn't be an out-of-pocket. So we've been kind of long time waiting. This is Arkansas Boulevard. This is the entrance that you may have seen for Harvest Ministries kind of compound that they have over there. When the airport in the past purchased a parcel to cover this runway protection zone, it included then land all along here along Arkansas Boulevard. So we have been approached by Harvest Ministries to sell them this 8.197 acre tract, and we had to do so at fair market value. We had an appraisal done, and they accepted that. And so it comes to approximately $139,000. The additional funds will go into our capital account and will be used for covering matches for future grants.
Any questions?
Let's do it.
If not, I would instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
A resolution of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Board of Directors approving the Texarkana Airport Authority selling 8.179 acres of land to Harvest International Ministries for $139,349 and establishing an effective date. Whereas the cities of Texarkana, Arkansas and Texarkana, Texas created the Texarkana Airport Authority by means of reciprocal ordinances codified in Chapter 6, Aviation, Article 2, Texarkana Airport Authority of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances, and Chapter 4, Airports, Article 2, Airport Authority of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Texarkana, Texas. And whereas the cities of Texarkana, Arkansas, and Texarkana, Texas require permission to sell, transfer, or in any manner encumber without written consent of joint approval from the city's governing bodies under the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances and Chapter 4, Airports, Article 2, Airport Authority of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Texarkana, Texas. And whereas the Texarkana Regional Airport Authority approved the land sale with Resolution 052622D on May 24, 2022, and whereas the Federal Aviation Administration determined that under Section 163 that they did not have authority to approve or deny the sale of land on May 10, 2024, and whereas the land is being sold for fair market value based upon an appraisal conducted April 24, 2022, and whereas the National Environmental Protection Act was satisfied under a categorical exclusion environmental review on August 8, 2023, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, Section 1, that Texarkana Regional Airport real estate land sale of 8.197 acres to Harvest International Ministries in the amount of $139,349 is hereby approved. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval. Passed and approved this 4th day of June, 2024.
The city attorney's read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Just have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I have one question. You said it took 2 years to close this deal. What, does it typically take that long for us to sell 8 acres?
It is because anytime that you are selling property that has been on an airport, you have to first make sure that the FAA doesn't have any encumbrances on it. And so we had to go through a long review period and then the environmental review on that property.
Any other? Would you call the roll? Oh, Director Harris.
What, how much are we selling for?
139,000. Any other? Would you call the roll?
Hart,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Jewell,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes, the resolution passes. This time, there's no other business on our regular agenda, board director commentary. Any board member wish to address the board?
I guess I got
Okay.
it. I guess a while back, I asked about a housing thing, program here. And I noticed that we have a ordinance, section, Article 5, is, housing, rehabilitation, development, and that ordinance. So we already have something in place that the city can have a housing person here. And we used to have one here, and we had that person here about 3 mayors ago. And when that last mayor, the mayor that, 3 mayors ago, I guess he just came in one day and basically all the housing people was fired. There were 3 persons that was, doing the housing program that we used to have. We used to get money and try to rehabilitate houses and get roof done to people's house. And I think they said that it was somewhat effective. I was told that a board member had a house roof done. I guess maybe because I know how true that is, because he was up for re-election and he had a house roof done. So I don't know how true that is, but we inadvertently still, I don't know if we still have a program or what, but if not, you can look at that ordinance, section 5 of our code of ordinance, and even give the outline for a 5-member board, including the city attorney, a person at the city manager, designated 2 board members, and also the housing person. And then the other thing I guess I want to say is, I guess everybody knows about the rain issue and the flooding issue a while back, and my question is that I know that that Public Works probably gonna say some things you probably couldn't do, but I do notice that back on Seaver Street, there was a drainage there, and I think not too long ago, I did give a request that I believe there was a drainage that was stopped up, but it was real flooding bad over there on Seaver Street. But what I would recommend is to see about, could you put in those big size pipes that you finna do for sewage, running from the railroad track all the way down to the creek there, and maybe eliminate the flooding over there at Seaver and Washington Street, because I think that area you probably could just put in the pipes there. And I still noticed that Jones Creek had flooded, but I told the people when I did a video of that and put that on Facebook, I basically told them that when the last study was done for our creeks, that creek wasn't included in the study. So, and the way the city and government work, unless you put a study in plan, the study is your basis to come behind and do money. So that's why I was telling the people when I posted that video that until a study is done for Jones Creek, and I'm talking about the creek between Pinehurst all the way to 67th Street, and until you do a study for that area there, you're not gonna be able to put money in that area. Now, I could, Public Works guy could come up here and correct me if I'm wrong or not, but I do think that you gotta do a study first, then you can be able to put money to repair the problem, because the study basically somewhere tell you what is the issue and what is called mitigation, even though you may feel that it's not gonna fix that issue, but you still need to mitigate it to limit the effect when you does have a flooding issue like you did yesterday. That's it.
Any other board member?
Just to comment, good to see our police officers here this evening. It's good to see you anytime, but I'm glad y'all are made time to come to the meeting. Always good to see you.
I'd like to say thank you, Sonia, and the Yates family for all you did for the airport, and Paul, hurry up and build that parking lot. And I'd also like to say thank you to Rob for always explaining stuff to me in very simple terms. And so I'm so thankful for the job that you do for both cities, so thank you, Rob.
Thank you for being patient with me.
Any other comments?
So, last weekend, our Big Dam Water Park opened, and on opening weekend, over Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, they had 2,900 people show up.
Any other comments?
One last comment. For the residents of Ward 4, the investigation is still ongoing from 19th Street to 22nd Street for the power. Looking at renewing, putting some new equipment over there. That's all I got.
Having none, we will now adjourn all guests, and we'll go into executive session. Yes?
City manager.
No, he's not on there.
I thought he was.
He's not on my agenda.
Okay, I thought he pulled his mic. He couldn't say.
You're fine. That's all right.